like to welcome you to the second session of the question and answer orientation. Sorry for the retard because some of our presenters weren't available, so I had to call them. Without wasting much of your time, I would like to present myself. My name is Dalitso Mwanza. I'm the academics coordinator for the association that is ZASAM, and I am a student of analytical chemistry and environmental quality assurance and quality control. Before I go any further, allow me to give the following respect to the following people that are present. That is the Vice President of the Association, the Secretary General of the Judiciary, and the former President of the Association, that is Mr. Dalitso. And before we start our program, allow me to call upon Mr. Roy to give us a word of prayer.
All right. Good morning, and shall we pray? Our dear Heavenly Father, who dwells in the Most High Heaven, we approach your throne of mercy this morning to thank you for this wonderful day that you have given us. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this privilege that you have given us to come together and share, Heavenly Father, with each other the knowledge that you have put in our lives, Heavenly Father, through experiences that we have had. We want to pray, Heavenly Father, for this meeting, that you be with us, Heavenly Father, that our friends may be able to learn one or two things from us, that, Heavenly Father, the meeting should go well. We thank you and we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So I'll give a little bit of a guideline on how we're going to go about the question and answer session. That is to the presenters. Every time you are called to answer the questions that you're going to be asked, we ask you to open your camera and respond to the questions so that the people can see you. And to our respective students, we ask that your mic should be off at all times, only when you are supposed to ask a question. And no videos allowed for you guys because there's going to be a little bit of interference with the connection. Yeah. So at this moment in time, I'll call upon the Vice President, Mr. Samuel Samalani, to give a few remarks before we start our program.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dalitso. I really want to thank your team and all the effort you guys have put in to make this program possible. So without wasting and boring anyone here, I want to thank you guys, the organizers, for making this meeting possible. And I want to also thank the followers, the students who are following from back home. We know how the data struggle, and yeah, we really appreciate your effort. And above, I want to thank the presenters. You know, we know how busy you guys are, and yet you found, you took your time to just come and, help out our friends who are back home and share your experiences, and something that we need to really thank you for. Yeah, so I really want to, on the behalf of ZASAM, I really want to thank you for your effort. One of the things which you have in our ZASAM motto is academic excellence, and I'm glad that I can see everyone fighting hard, to help even those who are yet, who are still struggling to reach there. So the academic coordinator, I really thank you, and the presenters who are in Morocco, thank you. And the students who are following from Zambia, really a big ups to you guys. So when I just got here, I was one curious student, and I remember I used to get all this information about different courses and everything, and at some point you just get lost because there's just so much information given. But well, these orientations are meant to make everything clear. They are meant to give you, this is as official as official as you can get. This is the information that I think hopefully will help each and every one of us here to clear your mind. And I hope those questions you've had will be answered today. So please don't forget to ask whenever you feel like you are not clear. We are here for that. So ladies and gentlemen, I will come you all to the last session of the 2021 orientations. Good luck to everyone and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. So like Mr. Vice President has mentioned, please let us have 100% interaction. Always ask your questions. You can post your questions in the chat box. You can raise your hand. I am coordinating, so I'll be able to point you out when you have done any of those things. So each presenter will be given 15 minutes to respond to the questions. So in the case where we do not have questions from the audience, I'll intervene with a few questions to the presenters so that we have a little bit of interaction. So without wasting much of your time, we are going to call upon Mr. Dilax Mutale for the Moroccan education system questioning. Thank you very much, Mr. Dilax. Could you please introduce yourself and what course you are studying? Then we start from there.
All right. Thanks a lot to the academics coordinator and also to the ZASAM executive in general. My name's Talib Dilax, and I'm a fifth-year student of dental medicine at Mohammed Senk University, Serie, and Faculty of Dental Medicine, of course. Yeah, and I'm here, of course, to respond to the questions with respect to the Moroccan education system. Yeah, so if you have questions in that regard, I am here to respond.
So are there any questions from the audience concerning the Moroccan education system?
I have a question.
Okay, Mr. Malama.
Yes, when I saw the orientation video about the new education system on YouTube, it said that the system where you guys graduating with master's degrees do not apply for our intake. Is this going to apply for all courses?
I didn't catch the last part. You're saying the students where a master's degree was? I didn't get that one.
Yes, the orientation video was posted about the new education system on YouTube. It said that you guys have the LMD education system, right? Now it's changing to so-called English bachelor education system. So is it that all of us don't graduate with any master's degree, whereas you guys, like for most of you, graduate with master's degree?
To the academics coordinator, I don't know if you're able to get the question. I don't know if it's my network, but I'm unable to get him.
Mr. Malama, could you please type your question in the chat box, because I'm also having a little bit of a challenge getting the question.
Okay, okay.
While we're waiting for Mr. Malama, is there any question from anyone? Okay, if there is no question, I will just ask Mr. Dilax to give a little bit of an insight on what the LMD system is. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to ask, maybe you can shed more light how the RMD system will be different from this new system that is to be adopted. If it will be affecting us as well, or it will start maybe later in the next academic year, or it will also affect us. What can you do?
Okay. Okay, so I'll talk about the LMD system, of course. As you saw from the video, LMD, that is L standing for licence, M standing for master, D standing for doctorat, of which L was for licence, that is bac plus 3, which is like high school results. And then you put 3 years of university, you get your degree, of course. And then master's was bac plus 5, and for doctorat, starting from bac plus 7, bac plus 8, meaning you have to be in school for at least 7 to 8 years for you to get recognized as having a doctorate. That is LMD, of course, according to the initials. And then, is it going to affect you guys? Of course, the system was implemented this academic year, which is the 2020-2021 academic year. These are the guys who are in first year right now. They're the ones that are going to feel the impact. Of course, it's being implemented now, so the impact is just going to be felt, but the full implementation, of course, it will keep on developing as each academic year proceeds. But the system has already been implemented, meaning those who are supposed to stay in school for 3 years will no longer stay for 3 years. They're going to stay for at least 4 years. Yeah. So if it's going to affect you, definitely it's going to affect you. Of course, not every program is going to be affected. Yeah, as you saw from the video, it's not every program that is going to get away with the same LMD, with the same system bachelier. No. So others will still stick to their certain programs like medicine, pharmacy, and dental medicine. Those programs are just the way they are. For you to get a medical degree, of course, you cannot stay for 4 years, you see. So you have to stay for the same amount of years that you initially were supposed to stay. So nothing has really changed on that part. But for those whose programs were supposed to be for 3 years, they are the ones that are going to be affected mostly, meaning you're supposed to stay in school for 4 years. I don't know if I've, oh yeah, and then you're saying what is, I don't know if I've answered all the questions asked, and then, yeah. Did you have something to do with, or how is it different? Something to do with the difference?
Something to do with the difference between LMD and
System bachelier. Okay, so now with respect to the LMD, of course, I'll just give a practical example. LMD, for the license, you stay for 3 years. 3 years, that is, you study for 6 semesters. Since the academic system in Morocco is not in years, it's based in semesters. So you get to stay in the semester, in the school for like 6 semesters, which is like 3 years. Now what happens is that you study for 5 semesters. That is for the LMD, of course. You study for 5 semesters, which is like S1 up to S5. And then S6 normally is not for studies mostly. It's full of projects, full of internships, etc. Okay, so now, meaning that 1 year, of course, you start specializing in your S5, since S1 to S4 is what you call tronc commun, like you just study things more like NS, okay? And then for S5, you start specializing. Let's say you want to do civil engineering, meaning you do your civil engineering. Of course, you're going to do that civil engineering only for the semester 5, and then semester 6, you start, of course, you learn something, but mostly it's more of practical and internships. So that was for the LMD system. And then they discovered that at the international level, you are not very much competent to fight for quite, like, to compare yourself to someone who has stayed in school for a long time. So what did they do? They said, okay, in order for us to go into details, at least to expose the students more in this field or that field, we're going to put more, we're going to more increase the number of semesters. Okay, that's where the system bachelier came in. So instead of you finishing your studies in semester 6, you continue up to semester 8. Okay, so now, someone who has only studied for like semester 5, semester 6 was just for internship and the like. And another person who went all the way up to semester 8, which is like 4 years now, okay, as compared to semester 6, which is 3 years. So definitely someone who has gone further, at least by 2 further semesters, would have learned quite a lot as compared to someone who just did 6 semesters. So how is it different? How is it? It's going to expose you, of course. It's going to expose you very much in your subject, okay, in the subject of study, of course, or your program of study, and also it's going to give you a wide range of subjects. For example, in the first year, you get to study a lot of subjects, okay? And after second year, that's when you get to what? You get to choose different subjects or different fields you want to. A long time ago, of course, you have to study for a long time for you to just study or to just choose, which the choosing is made in semester 5. But with the system bachelier, the choosing, at least you more like you specify the direction where you want to go as soon as semester 3, okay? And then from there, you still have a lot of choices to choose from, and you're going to study. If you are studying civil engineering, for example, in the faculty system, you're going to discover that you are in school studying the same program for a long time as compared to the old system where you just spend a semester or 2 semesters for you to complete your specialization. So the system bachelier, of course, definitely, it's going to expose you to a lot of things, and you're going to be more competent as compared to the old system of LMD. So I don't know if I've answered. If there are
Okay,
still questions.
yeah, there's some questions in the chat box, and I'll read one of them. It says, how about those who are supposed to study for 5 years? Are the number of years supposed to increase or reduce? Then there's another one. With the new system, are we going to graduate with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree?
Okay. Okay, we'll start with the first question. How about those who are supposed to do 5 years? Okay, so we're talking about schools like ENCG. I'm sure the person who was presenting ENCG, they did that. There's also École nationale des sciences appliquées, École nationale des sciences appliquées, École nationale d'art et métiers. Well, those are initially 5 years. Okay, that's bac plus 5. This LMD, the system bachelier, we're talking about a bachelor's degree. It's only affecting mostly, of course, the people who are supposed to do the licence, which is like a bachelor's degree, of course, for like 3 years. And now the system has changed. Bon, of course, with the reasons I gave. So it's going to be more than that. But someone who's supposed to initially study, let's say you're in the engineering cycle, of course, another person will talk about the engineering cycle. Those are not really going to be affected that much because their system itself has been designed that way to have bac plus 5, which we're talking about a level, in Zambia, it's considered to be level 9 master's degree, okay? So someone who is already in the engineering cycle, meaning you're going to be in school for like 5 years, it's a system that is already laid down and nothing is going to be affected. Maybe what's going to be affected, I'm not sure, I have to confirm. It's maybe in the introduction of certain languages, meaning if initially you were not doing certain languages like English, they introduce certain languages in your curriculum. But of course, for the engineering cycle, well, I have information here. They do certain languages, of course. There's English, there's Spanish, there's German, okay, depending on your city where you are. So for the engineering cycles, for bac plus 5, it's not really going to be affected because they are already in the master's category. So despite the fact that that will be your first degree or the first paper, it's going to be considered as master's degree when you go back home, level 9 master's degree. So you can just find out what level 9 is. I think it should be some higher level. Another question, with the new system, are we going to graduate with a bachelor's degree or master's degree? Yeah, of course, you're going to graduate if you're in engineering or in the science department, you're going to graduate with a bachelor's of science in engineering, for example, okay? Or bachelor's of science in another field. Or if you're in the arts department, you're going to graduate with a BA, which is like Bachelor's of Arts in ABCD field. But if you are coming to do a bac plus 5, bac plus 5, meaning your program is for 5 years, then you are definitely going to get away with a master's. direct masters, especially for those who are coming for any program that starts with, or any school that starts with École Nationale, something, something. Yeah, those. I don't know if I've responded.
Yeah, are you guys clear on the LMD system and what it involves, its advantages? Because the questions I have here, how long does BCG take? There's actually someone who's going to respond to that. What is BCG all about? I wasn't clear, Mr. Mutale. So someone is responsible for BCG. So for those that have got questions on BCG, is going to come along. If there are no questions, I would like to ask Mr. Dilax one question before we close. And this question is about concours. Mr. Dilax, could you please elaborate more on what a concours is? Because in almost all these fields that are back plus trois, you're going to have an aspect of writing a concours for you to go to a grande école or an école. So what are concours and what do they involve?
Okay, so basically, and I'm sure that just like the academics coordinators talked about, I'm sure even in your videos that you watched, you'll find that almost all the presenters were mentioning concours d'accès, concours d'antenna, concours de résidana. Voila. So we talk about concours. Concours, what is a concours? Concours is more like a competition. Okay, just the name itself, concours is. It means a competition. Now, in this case, what competition are we talking about? A competition to access a certain higher level of, from your initial level. Okay, almost each program has got some sort of a concours. So the concours is the national exam that you get to take for you to access a certain level of education. Okay, because that level is not supposed to be accessed by everyone. Therefore, they put an exam so that not everyone should be shortlisted to access that school. Okay, so for example, we talk about for the engineering. We'll talk about the engineering, of course. We talk about for the engineering, of course, there are different types of concours. If you're coming from a lower level and you want to attain that back, okay, talk about the back plus 5, meaning you don't really want to graduate with your bachelor's degree, but you want more. Therefore, you're going to attempt a concours. You're going to apply for a concours, of course, and the concours you need to be qualified to apply for that. And mostly the cutoff point for you to access a concours in most schools is 12 out of 20, meaning your average in all the years that you've been doing a certain program should be at least a 12, okay? And of course, you sit for that exam. If they pick you, if they need 5 people and 50 of you are writing that exam, you need to be among the same 5 people. That's the only time you're going to access the same grande école, which is like literal terms like higher school, okay? Or for you to access another opportunity that may come your way other than the initial school that you are in. Definitely, once you pass that concours, you're going for higher papers. And then, of course, the person who's going to talk about medicine, there is also a concours in there, okay? What is it for? Definitely, it's for you to get a higher, more specialty or speciality as compared to the one that you are supposed to graduate with. Therefore, in every aspect, of course, you will find that there is a concours. It's something that you just have to prepare. We've had success already. Okay, there has been a female Zambian student who managed to pass the same concours to access a grande école. Okay, she was at a certain school, and of course, she managed to pass, and she went to that same grande école. We've also had in the past students from the engineering department who are just from a lower level, but they managed to access or to go to a certain higher level of engineering cycle. Therefore, this same concours thing, of course, you hear rumors, we failed COSA, etc. No, we as Zambians, we are strong, we are metals. Therefore, whatever you put your mind to, you are definitely going to pass. I don't know if there are other questions.
No, that was the last question. Thank you very much, Mr. Deluxe. If you guys have questions on the system Moroccan, you can still see Mr. Deluxe. I'm sure we added his line to the students' course list. You can still ask if there's any question. Without wasting much of your time, thank you very much, Mr. Deluxe. Without wasting much of your time, we are going to go to the medical field, and to present is Mr. Roy Kwivisa. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, my name is Ave Flu. I hope you can get me out try as much as possible. Past few weeks has not been easy with me. The flu is just on me. So my name is Lisa Royd. I am studying at the Faculty of Medicine in FAZE, and I'm in my 5th year. And I'm here to answer questions concerning medical school or medicine in general in Morocco. So for those that are coming to do medicine, or those that are interested to just know how the system is with medical school, I am here for you.
So for the students that want to know more about what medicine involves in Morocco, please use the time to ask your questions. So maybe we can build up from where Mr. Deluxe had left. He said for medical students, you also have the ability to access other specialties. So maybe you can elaborate more on what specialties you can go into, and yeah, then from there we will take it up from there.
Okay, so yeah, like Mr. Deluxe was saying, in most schools, we have concours, which are competitions to access a higher level of study in that profession. In medicine, we also have concours, and I talked about them in the video that I made about medicine in Morocco. I talked about 2 types of concours. The first one is called the concours d'antenne. So this concours d'antenne, you get to participate when you reach your 5th year, when you complete your 5th year, which is your last year of doing theory and yeah, winding up with theory. So you get to participate in a concours, which you are given about 4 to 5 months to prepare. Then, you know, after you make it in that concours, you'll be given access to specialize. But before you go to the specialty, you are going to do your 6th year and 7th year in a more intense manner. So once you do the concours d'antenne, you're going to be an intern, and an intern does almost the same thing as the 6th years, but for him is doing it in a more intense manner, and his rounds are more prolonged. For the 6th year, they remain their rounds remain 1 month, 1 week. For the intern, it's 6 months per rotation. So he has about 4 rotations in 2 years of internship. And in these rotations, he's going to do about 2 medical, 2 surgical, sometimes 3 medical, 1 surgical. Then after that, he's going to go direct to doing his specialty. Yeah. So mostly for rotations, as I heard, they give based on merit. Sometimes you can have you can be lucky to choose some rotations that you want based on what you anticipate on specializing in. For example, if you want cardiology, you can choose cardiology. You can choose maybe radiology, and other relevant to the one that you want to specialize in. And the next concours is concours de residana. Concours de residana, mainly you get to do it when you finish your medicine and you do your thesis, and you are already called a doctor and you have graduated and you want further studies. So you do the concours de residana, which is the same program. You prepare the same things like the concours d'antenne. From your 1st year up to your 5th year, there are selected topics, about 560 somewhere there topics that you get to prepare. Then they'll bring about should be 30 or 34 of those 500 and something. So if you make it, you become a resident, you go direct to your specialty. You don't get to do any 2 years of residency or any 2 years of internship, whatever. You just go direct to your specialty. There is to come out with specialties already given. So when the results come out, they'll give you about a week. Then after that week, you report directly to your service of specialty. Then your work starts from there. Yeah. So.
Okay. Neymar K has their hand raised up. You can ask a question.
I have a number of questions, but the first one is, why is Fez the most common city of choice for most Zambian students in Morocco?
Okay, then second question.
The second one is, how long is the residency? How long is the residency that you do after your concours and for that for your specialty?
Okay, so
then I ask another one, or just to answer those?
Yeah, I think they are very short answers, so you can ask. Then I'll answer them at the same time.
For the agronomy and veterinarian video, he said if you during your first year you fail or you don't make it, you are rejected and you're not given a chance to do it again. So is it the same for medicine? Are you rejected and not given a chance to redo your first year, or you are given a chance to redo it in the case that you fail? Then how many people are on average in a medical class, or the class for medicine? How many people on average are there in the school of medicine?
Okay. Yeah, so concerning your first question, which was, sorry, for the first question was what?
My first question was, why is Fez the most common choice of city for most Zambians?
Fez is the most choice. I think Fez started with our first medical student that was ever given medicine, a Zambian medical student, came to Fez. So when that person came to Fez, they were, of course, a pioneer, and it was the first time that we had students coming to Morocco, and the first medical student was in Fez. So the second one, when she came, of course, she needed someone that could understand the struggle and everything, and also just someone that could guide her and help. So the student that came for the second intake also chose medicine because of that reason. So I had to ask her the question, and that's what she said. She said, I knew that, there's a Zambian somewhere, so there's no reason for me to go and start digging from the when someone is already digging. So it's better someone that is already digging helps me to understand. Then the second question, I think, was concerning the concours. How long is the concours de residency takes? Residence concours takes, once you start your residency, it depends on the specialty that you are doing. If you are doing a medical specialty like cardiology, gastroenterology, and other medical specialties where you are not supposed to operate on anyone, you're just supposed to you diagnose them using just medicine and treating them using medication. It takes 4 years to do your specialty. Then if you are doing a surgical specialty, it takes 5 years. So in summary, you can say all medical specialties take about 4 years, except for medicine and internal medicine and reanimation, which take 5 years. Then for the surgicals, they take 5 years, except for one, which is cardiovascular surgery, which takes about 6 years. So yeah, Then the other question was concerning what? Sorry, I'm forgetting.
The question was at the School of Agronomy, if you fail, you are not given a chance to go back to school. Now, is it the same case for medical student when they fail to, is it pass their concours? Yeah. Is there a case where they are maybe chased away from the school or something like that?
Okay, so in medicine, we don't have concours like in the first year. There is no cycle like engineering cycle thing. No, for us we have about 3 cycles. We have about, first of all, I said in the video, we have about 7 years to do medicine, which is divided in 3 cycles. So the first cycle being first, second year, then second cycle from third year to 5th year, then third cycle from 6th year to 7th year. So when you come for your first year, you are given medicine, you come direct to the faculty. You start your medicine, you are given 3 chances to make it in the first cycle. So in the first year, second year, you are given 3 chances. So you can start your, let's say for instance, your first year, and you don't make it in your first year. So you can go back, you do your inscription again, you try again. And if you fail to make it again, you try for the 3rd time. And for the 3rd time, God should help you to pass, because if you don't make it, then they'll chase you. They will actually give you back what you submitted, and no inscription will be done for you. So let's say you make it in the, you fail for the first time, then second time you make it, you go to the second year. In the second year, you have remained with 1 chance to finish your premier cycle. So you do your second year, you have to make sure you pass. If you fail, mostly if you fail your 3rd chance in second year, there is an association of students at every faculty. Here they help out. You can write a letter, they will go and beg for you. And you must know that that begging, it's either it's going to work or not. Yeah, so you can either go to the 3rd year, you can do your second year for the second time and go to your 3rd year, or if you don't make it, they chase you.
Okay. Do you guys have any question for Mr. Royd before I ask him a question on your behalf?
Sorry. So I asked, how many students are on average in a medical class?
How many students? We have about, normally the students that are admitted every year, we have about 400 per year, 400 per year. But because every year comes, not everyone passes, about 80% do pass to go to the following year. So you have about 20% of the people that repeat a year. So let's say you are about 450 this year that are going to be admitted, or 400, depending on the people that, write the concours, because mainly they will set a concours to come to medicine. You have to get 15 or 16 out of 20, the average mark for a concours. And you find that about 90% of the participants get 15 and more. So even when they are going to do deliberation, they are going to, increase a bit of the passing mark. It's going to be a lot, because it's going to be difficult for them. So they're going to get about 450 maybe. Then if it's first year, you have about, again, 80 to 100 people maybe that repeat, or maybe 50 people. So they get to add to this 450 and you become 500. So my promotion, for example, in 5th year is made up of 500 and something, I think 530 students now. Yeah, so it depends, it varies each year, but normally they admit about 400 to 450 students.
Okay.
Then seeing that your first year is the education system is new and the French language, how did you personally get through your first year of medical school?
Okay, so my personal experience, my first year, when I came for first year, of course, you have to know in mind, you have to keep it in mind that when you are going to certain schools, there is a certain kind of mentality that you need to go with based on what you have heard about that school. I know most of us or most of you guys you don't want something that is not challenging. You want something that is challenging enough. You want something that will actually push you to limits. So when I was given medicine, I was told you have to read a lot, you have to, so for me, when I came, I had to first of all expose myself to, reading a lot. I had to sit down and read, and also visited seniors. I talked about seniors in the video that I made. Like, once you have seniors in a city, you go and ask them questions, because there is also the aspect of system. It's not like people that fail here are less intelligent. Everyone that comes to Morocco, first of all, you are all intelligent, and everyone that goes to the faculty of medicine or any other school, you are very, very intelligent. So for people that do fail, mainly you find once you ask them questions, they are introverts, they don't really talk about their studies, they don't want to be asked about studies. I remember I asked one guy from Guinea. I was telling him how is school going and everything. The guy looked at me and said, are you the one responsible for students in Morocco? So I was like, this guy. So there are people that are quite they are quite locked up. They don't really talk about school and stuff. So you don't really get to know what they are doing, if they're actually doing the right thing. Yeah, so you really have to ask questions, and you really have to be humble enough to learn from people, because you find out that the more you learn, the more you don't know. So you have to always ask questions from the people that have done it, and from the people in your own promotion. Because in first year, we have a group at school, a WhatsApp group and a Facebook group, where people post exam questions, post what professors commented concerning how the exam will be, which form the exam will be. Me, I wasn't in the Facebook group, no, the WhatsApp group when we started. So I went and we were learning, and I didn't know anything. Then it was about a week to exams when I was talking to a Moroccan friend that was telling me, no, this was posted in the group. Then I was like, hey, which group? No, we have a group, we have a WhatsApp group, we have a Facebook group where we post things. So the professor said we are not supposed to read this and that, we are supposed to concentrate on this. So imagine if I didn't know that, I would have actually missed out. So passing first year is actually very easy. You just have to, talk to people and be open to learning from other people. And also you have to be serious with your studies and also going to school.
Okay. Any question? So I'll just ask Mr. Ray 2 questions. Please, you should be a little bit brief because we are running out of time. So the first question is how intensive, or first of all, when do you start doing your internship and how intensive are they? And the second one is, knowing for the fact that you have got 3 faculties, that is Faculty de Médecine in Fez, in Rabat, in Casablanca. Now, how would you advise a student concerning the choice when it comes to choosing which faculty should they go for? Is it that they are all supposed to go for Fez because they are Zambians there, or they are supposed to go to Rabat because it's center? Are they supposed to go to Casablanca because it's more touristic and all those things? What incentives are you going to look at when you're applying for a school either in Fez, Casablanca, or Rabat?
Okay, so to the first question, how intense is the internship? Internship is actually very, very intense. Sometimes we have seen people that carry their backpacks full of clothes and certain things that they will need, because they will stay at the hospital for a whole full week. They'll be working there. There will be no time to go home as much. And the hospital itself has facilities where they can take a nap, they can cook and eat. So concours d'antenne is very, very intense. So your 6 months, you'll be doing sometimes guard, which is night shifts. You do night shifts continuously for about 2 weeks. So you work in the day and you work also in the night. So it's very, very intense. And at the end of each concours, like I said, each round is about 6 months. So at the end of each round, going to the next round, you are not given even a day break. So if you finish on Friday, Monday, you start another one. Then in a year, the complete year, if you do 6 months, 6 months, of course, it's 12 months. You don't have any months of vacation. You have about 1 week of vacation to go and visit wherever you want to go and visit. So yeah, that question comes, it's very, very important, because once you start your medical school and it's 7 years, and if you plan to do a concours, d'antena or residency, you have to plan visiting between first year to fifth year, because once you start concours d'antena or residence, you just have to see your family maybe after you are done or something. Or if you are able to spend your money for a week in Zambia, you can go and visit them for a week. Then to the second question, which is concerning
Which
it is
city to
concerning
apply for?
city to apply to. Yeah. So for the cities, I think in every city, for example, in Marrakesh, I think should be the fourth promotion. There's one guy that was given Marrakesh. He actually wanted Marrakesh. He wanted to go to Marrakesh, and he applied to go to Marrakesh, and he was a pioneer there. He's doing fine. He has never had problems with his school. There are challenges, but he has put through. So I wouldn't really advise someone to go to a city because there are people. Because here in Fez, we have maybe come together twice a year. We don't even meet at the faculty. I rarely meet the first years. If they meet me, they are surprised. Are you at this school? I'm like, yes, I am at the same school. But we have different schedules such that we don't even, we don't even meet each other like that. So you wouldn't really go because they are, otherwise you have a lot of expectation perhaps to say, no, they are supposed to help me, they are supposed to give me this, give me that. And if they don't, you start hating everyone. So you are enough. You are enough. Wherever you choose, you're going to make it. And like I said, all the faculties, we are using almost the same system, same number of subjects in a year, maybe just different, professors, they have different ways of giving their exams, but we learn almost the same thing. So when we meet and talk about medical school as medical students, we understand each other very well. And when I want to transfer, I'm like tired with phase, I want to go to Rabat, I apply for a transfer. If they grant me a transfer, I'm going to Rabat and I'll be learning the same thing. Yeah, so that's that.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Reid, for your time. And for those that still have questions to do with medicine, Mr. Reid's line will be sent to the group so that you can reach out for more information. Thank you very much, Mr. Reid.
All right, thank you.
So another advice I would give to our students is that in as much as you are applying for these fields, please do not just apply because you think there are Zambians there. Apply because you have something that you desire to do from that seat. Take for instance, what happened to the first Zambians that were in Morocco? They did not have senior Zambians. They were the first ones to come here. So when they were applying for these cities, they were just applying because they know that where their course is, that is where they want to go to. Instead of applying because, no, there is a Zambian there, I want to go and see this, that shouldn't be the case. The case should be apply because you know that if I apply for Marrakesh, I'll find cardiology there, not because there is a Zambian. Yeah. So we are going to call upon Mr. Richard Chanda for the questioning of the École Sciences de Technologie, EST, which is civil engineering. Mr. Richard.
Was it me you called?
Yes, Mr. Richard Chanda.
I'm having a slight problem. Okay, I'm having a slight problem with the connection.
Okay, you can turn on your video.
What?
You can turn on your video, yeah. Okay. So for all those that have questions concerning the EST and with respect to civil engineering, this is your time. Mr. Richard, you can also introduce yourself.
Hello. Just a brief introduction. A brief introduction. My name is Chandra Richard. I'm in my third year at the Faculty of Sciences in Setup. It's under the University ZASAM. So yeah, for any questions that you have about civil engineering, in particular about civil engineering at the EST, yeah, because I'm quite familiar with that. I'm just uh, I've just been introduced to civil engineering at the faculty, so I don't know so much about it. In that I'm only doing the sixth semester this year, but next year I'll be doing it decided. So for any questions pertaining to civil engineering at the EST, you can ask me.
Any questions? Any questions? Okay, Mr. Richard, you can just give, say, a brief explanation on what civil engineering is, that is at the EST, because we know that we have got civil engineering as they call that is ENSA. We also have civil engineering at the faculty. Now, what does civil engineering involve at the EST? What makes it different from these other schools?
Okay, so what makes civil engineering different from the Gandhi course, like École Nationale des Sciences Appliquées, ENSA? It's the fact that from the start, we just go directly into the practicality of the work. At the ENSA, you start with the fundamental courses. So you have to do mathematics, a lot of mathematics and physics and chemistry. And then in the third year, you choose your specialization. And if you choose civil engineering, you start doing the courses that the EST offers from the first year. So that's the main difference. I think if I can give somebody advice, I think I would advise them to go to the ENSA because there they give everything. You're taught how to analyze things and critically, think critically and handle abstract issues. And then at the EST, it's not really much of fundamentals, but you just go into the practicality of the work. For me, I studied at the faculty before going to the EST. When I got my transfer, I really saw the difference. At the faculty, I was trained in mathematics, in physics, and whatnot. So when I saw the engineering mathematics that was at the EST, I found it way inferior to the one compared to the faculties. That's a fundamental process. Because at the faculty and the ENSA, you are trained, you are given the formation fundamental. So you have to see the basics really of science. That's right. Unlike the EST, it's really I wouldn't advise somebody to go that side. But if you really want to start working quickly and gain a lot of experience, yeah, you can go the EST. EST is the place for you. And if you want to be very independent, like coming up with BOQs, and maybe some structured designs and selling them privately, I think EST is the best because you won't have to depend on certain companies. Yeah, your details. You can just come up with your own stuff and sell it privately.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if I'm going to spend so much time here because I have an exam. I talked to the coordinator earlier on.
Okay.
I'm currently working on something.
So just asked, I will just ask two last
on,
questions. Just two last questions. Okay, the first one is, does the EST offer concours to go to grand écoles like the answer you mentioned? That's the first question. And the second question is, okay.
That, okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
You can ask me that.
No, you can go ahead. I'll ask the other one later.
Okay. So the EST doesn't really offer, well, in the past, we heard that students from the EST had access to the grand course, but because of the lack of fundamental sciences like mathematics and physics, I think the people from the ENSA decided not to be taking students from the EST. Only maybe the top 2 students are considered for the ENSA. So really that one,
okay,
they don't have access.
So then the last question is, at the EST, you guys take 3 years to do your studies. What, how can I put it? What diploma do you get at the end of the 3 years course? Because
So, okay, so there are generally two programs, there are two formations which are not really connected directly. So there is the DAT. The first 2 years you get your first degree, which is an associate degree, a diploma university of technology. So you are given all the practical work that you need, be it software design and structural analysis and road construction, earthquake analysis, and everything you're given in those 2 years. Then after that, you're no longer considered a student at the ESD. You are given an option to do a concours if you want to do a concours. Very well, but you're going to be competing for a place among 30 available places. So what happens is 20 places are reserved for students who are going back to the ESC, I mean, who are from the ESC, and 10 places are from all around Morocco, anyone who wants to take part. But really, it's very competitive, and I think that's what makes the system a little bit hard that side in terms of the concours, because you do not just have direct access to your third year. So I wouldn't really advise somebody to go to the EST. It's just I thank God that I was accepted to this school, my current school. Otherwise, many of my friends are not in school right now. So yeah, it's really, really competitive that side.
all right, Mr. Richard, thank you very much. And if you have questions, come to you. The contacts will be sent to the group for more questioning. And all the best, Mr. Richard, in your exam. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
At this time, we're going to call upon Mr. Alexander Lungowe, who did a presentation on the School of Veterinary Medicine and Agronomy. Mr. Alexander, are you present?
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, Mr. Dalitso. For me, I knew the program was 10 hours, so I really have a meeting after this. That's why I'm in the bus right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll be available to answer for any question that people have.
Okay. So for those that have questions to do with the School of Agronomy and Veterinary Medicine, this is your time to ask your questions.
All right, I have a question.
Yes, you can.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. After the concours, like in the first year, when it happens that a person fails, they fail to make it, what happens? What's next for that person?
Oh yeah, since as I mentioned, you only have one chance to do a PESA, that is the School of Agronomy first year. So if one fails, you have to leave the school. You have to go to faculty directly. You don't really have much choices, because as the school system is, like, there are those higher schools. So this School of Agronomy is one of the higher schools. So if you fail, you cannot go back to a higher school. You have to go to faculty directly. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question?
But then what is found? Yes, there is a question, but then what is found at the faculty?
Oh, for at the faculty, there are other courses. Like, for example, the course I'm doing, that is engineering, food processing, and quality control. It's also there by the faculty, but the only thing that what you get at the end, that's what differs, and also the quality. So because, like, the School of Agronomy is one of the recognized schools offering such courses. So as you go to faculty, you'll find other courses, like, from say the one I'm doing, and other courses like, say, geology and others, But for more information, I would advise you to talk to someone who's at the faculty. Yeah. But you have to put that in mind. Only have one chance. So after that, you just have to go to faculty. So for the faculty, you'll be limited with the chances. But for example, like I've also heard that from faculty, you can go to direct to pharmacy or anything like that. I'm not really certain on that, but you better ask someone who's at faculty. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
So like on average, how many Zambians make it after the concourse over the years?
Okay. The first intake was the one for Power. There were the three of them, and all of them made it. Then the second intake, it was me and the other two girls, but I was the only one who made it. Then the third intake, there were two, and all of them made it. Okay, the school got everyone, so that one we cannot really make it, compare it with my intake and Popo. So on average, you could say, okay, I could say 80%, or as I say, everyone can make it. Just depends on how you work. Otherwise, not really something that we can say like maybe there's a percentage that they'll be accepted or anything like that, but just depends on how you have worked. But so far the first person, like the first intake who tried, didn't make it. Then the second intake for Paul, there's ones who made it, all of them. Then the other one, I was the only one.
Okay, any questions? Is it just Mr. Knox asking questions or? Okay, Mr. Alexander, here is something I want you to talk about. So would you just give a general experience of how the APESA school is in the first year so that the guys know what it actually involves?
All right, thank you. Okay, my experience at APESA was one of the most challenging in life. I've gone through grade 12, but let's say the exam pressure for grade 12 is a lot, but that's nothing compared to what you undergo by APESA. Like APESA is much more than that. Yeah, so you have, let's say, about 9 subjects to do in a semester. That is 3 months, and for those subjects you do them the whole 3 months. So that means you have classes from morning to, let's say, 12:30, and then in the afternoon you have to do practicals and other classes. So you can just say in a day you are from 8 hours to 18, and then the remaining time that you have, that's the only time you have to study and do other things. So I would really say, for you to be at APESA, you need to be very strong. Like I would say, you need, as I said in my video, you need to know what you want at the end, because the pressure will push you to the limits where you want to give up, but it's really up to what you want, and it's not something that is impossible to do. So then the second semester, you do almost the same subjects as you did in the first semester, except you just change one subject. For example, let's say you have 3 types of biologies. So instead of doing geology in second semester, you have to come do biology, which is biology vegetal. So that's a difference between semester 1 and semester 2. Then once you make it out of those subjects that you have, for example, in those 6 months, there's one remaining module, that is stage, that is internship. And then the internship is only for those that have made it in these other subjects. So if you make it, then you are allowed to go for stage. If not, you're going to remain and you have to leave the school. Then now coming to, I know you have only asked about APESA, but once you are by APESA, in the course of your study, you must make sure that at least as you are working, you know what you want to do after that first year, because from APESA you have 4 different departments to go to. You have industrial agroalimentary, that is what I'm doing with the engineering and food processing and quality control. Then you have veterinary medicine, you have agronomy, and then you have topography. So as you are doing the first year, you must know what you want to do after that. Yeah, dreams, like you might come with a dream of doing agronomy or veterinary medicine, but it may change according to how you have performed, especially the first semester, because first semester is one of the most challenging. So you might find that you might have a position that is not favorable for certain courses, So what do you do when such happens? You must now see what are the possibilities. Like for example, let's say, if you want to do topography, after first semester, you find that you are more than 100. It's really very hard for you to go down less than 40. So you know automatically you can't do topography. There remain 3 chances. And now after second semester 2, now it depends again what you have gotten, how the marks have gotten and your position. So you might find that you might not even be eligible to do veterinary medicine. That means you're only down 2 chances, agronomy or undergraduate. Then again, now it will depend again on the position that you are. So you might end up doing undergraduate or agronomy. So that's why I said you must be open to anything that may arise, because dreams do change, and during the course of that, with the pressure that is there, you end up doing what you didn't even want. That's why you need to know what you want to do in the first place. Even if as you are studying, as you have that pressure, as I said, it's more than the grade 12. Like it's way less and way more than that. So you need to know what you want to do. Yeah, I don't know if there's another question.
Okay, to just close, I don't know if there's any question. Okay, so my last question, Mr. Alexander, is knowing for the fact that you said the pressure was too much. Munchin, do you have a question? Okay, so knowing for the fact that you said the pressure was too much, how did you manage to balance between school life, of course, because you're a student, and spiritual life? Because at the end of the day, in as much as there is pressure, you're also supposed to go to church, you're also supposed to read your Bible, and some of these things are important as a student. It's not just reading, but it's also involving in such activities that help you, like they push you, because at some point one might want to give up, but when they look at their, say, spiritual background and know where they stand, that is also a factor that's going to help them push through. So how was it for you when it comes to the other side, the spiritual life? How was it? Did you stop going to church, or maybe you were attending church online or something like that?
All right, thank you. Oh, on that one is important. Like you really need to go to church. Like you really need to go to church. Like for example, let's say every time, for example, you reach weekend, because the weekend, that's the only time you may have time to maximize on what you missed during the week. So I would advise the one who comes to Apesa to be going to church, because you need at least something out of school. Yeah, you need something out of school, and either way, passing or could just say passed because of God, because anything could have happened there. So church is one thing that you don't need to put away. Then other activities, that one is something that is a bit personal, because there are some who are very much into sports. So if you are into sports, you need to have at least have time to do sports, because just school alone, I think by the end of those 6 months, I don't think you really feel okay. Because personally, after first year, I wasn't really feeling okay. I was like, maybe there's something that in me that has changed, like mentally. That is because of the pressure. So activities out of school are very important. Even though times, for example, let's say when you're going to church, always the mind will always tell you that there's something that you are not doing. You're supposed to be on books, but you cannot be on books 7 days a week. So we need at least a few hours for God. And as you said, reading the Bible is very important, because at least you need that guidance, that spiritual guidance on the other side. But in everything that you are doing, you should know that you shouldn't do the other things out of school more than you are doing for school, because the time is very limited. So you need to put more time on books as well as other things, but especially time on books, you need to maximize all the time, because the 3 months might look they are a lot, but they are not. So one needs to really put more focus. As you, let's say Sundays, you go to church, but at least when you just finish, better you go back and focus on school. Otherwise, any other activities that want to benefit you, it's better in those 6 months to try to sacrifice them for that moment.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Alexander. If there are any questions, please, you are going to ask them after the session. Yeah, I'll give you guys the contacts of every presenter here. Yeah. So, okay, well explained. So now we are done with medicine, the school system, agronomy, and the AST. Now we are going to the Faculty of Sciences and Techniques. Now, at the Faculty of Sciences and Techniques, we have got what you call class preparatoire. Now, with this class preparatoire, there are three. That is, the first one is BCG, second one is GGM, and the last one is MIP. So we are going to call upon the first presenter, that is going to be Mr. Simon Nkoma. He's going to take us through the BCG section. So for those that have got questions, I already noted two questions. The first question, Mr. Simon, as you come in, is how long does BCG take for you to graduate, and what is BCG? And what is BCG? So, Mr. Simon, those are the questions you're going to start with. And on suite, those that have questions, you raise up your hand and we'll continue from there.
Hello, everyone.
You can have your video on, Mr. Simon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Simon Sharif Nkoma. I'm in my second year. That is the final year for BCG. Soon to specialize this year, if God allows. I'm at the FST phase, that is the Faculty of Sciences and the Techniques in the city of Fez. So BCG is a 2 years program where we do biology, chemistry, and the geology. Like these are the main modules. Like as I explained in the video, there are some other supplementary modules like mathematics, physics, but mainly the focus is on biology, chemistry, and geology. Because even after doing BCG for 2 years, like there is what we call specialization, where you need to choose like, okay, which field are you going to follow? For instance, if you follow the geology part, geology, there are also some other courses there. So which course are you going to do after maybe 2 years of BCG, maybe in the field of geology, or maybe in the field of biology, or in the field of what, of chemistry? So I listed, like in that video, I explained about the courses you can find in each city and where you can work. Also, I also mentioned there.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, here it says apart from direct agronomy, can you access agroalimentaire through BCG?
Okay. Yes, it is possible to access the agroalimental through BCG. You can either access a licence, which is a degree, or maybe you can access a direct master's after writing a concours.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Any questions from the audience? Okay, so Mr. Simon Nkoma, I've got a question. Okay, says, what course under BCG is closely related to agriculture engineering, which is the same agroalimentaire, isn't it?
Yes, it is the agroalimentaire, but there is also yeah, like the course which is most related to agriculture engineering, it is the agroalimentaire, but there are also some other courses like just a minute, I check on the okay, just a minute. I'm trying to check with what the list of courses. Oh yeah, there is the biotechnology et valorisation des phytoresources, like in FST phase. Yeah, that is also related to the one you asked. That is biotechnology and the valorization of phytoresources.
Okay. Which city is best for agroalimentaire?
like for the city which is best for agroalimentaire, I think the answer to that one might be I can't really say maybe this is the best city, since ever since Zambian started coming to Morocco, the only city where a Zambian has done that course, it is here in FST phase. So last time when I had the talk with him, he shared with me the experience that he's been having ever since he started that course. So I can't really say, okay, this is the best city, but like I cannot advise for someone who wants to do that course to come to FST phase, because that's where there is someone who has done it before. Instead of going to a city where maybe no one has done that course before, everything is going to be new for you.
Okay. So the next question is, the 2 years for BCG is a diploma. Then after that, can you major for a degree or what?
Yes, like after doing BCG for 2 years, it's a diploma, and that diploma, like depending on the average marks that you have, like after adding the results for all the 4 semesters, it is that average mark which will determine how many chances do you have, like for you to major in a certain course. So yeah, like if you have a good average mark, that is, we call it Moyen, you can either go for direct masters like through Kunku, or you can also do some lessons. If you say, okay, maybe I don't want to do direct masters, I don't want to write a Kunku, you can just go for direct. You can go forward for bachelor's degree. That is lessons. We call it lessons. It's a bachelor's degree. So mostly you find that the courses that are offered at the master's level, they are also offered at license level.
Okay. Then the other question is, Alosima open for BCG?
Yes, Alosima, it is open for BCG, but no Zambian has ever been there. No Zambian has ever done BCG from Alosima, but it's open, yes.
Okay. So I have a question, Mr. Simon. Knowing for the fact that BCG stands for biology, chemistry, and geology, how would you advise someone to choose which specialization they're supposed to go for? Are they going to go for a biology specialization, a chemistry specialization, a geology specialization? What criteria can you point out to say this is what you're supposed to use for you to like go for this specialization?
Okay, thanks very much. So BCG is a journey for 2 years. And in that 2 years, I think depending on the performance, depending on the challenges and how easy some modules maybe you might find, like how easy some modules are, or maybe how difficult they are, I'm sure you can easily orient yourself to say, okay, maybe I'm doing well in the field of biology, or maybe I'm doing well in the field of chemistry or geology. I'm sure by the end, or maybe like especially by the end of the first year, you do the 3rd semester, you just looking at the results, how you've been faring, someone can tell that, okay, I think in the field of geology, I'm not very much good. So if I choose this field, maybe I might have some challenges. So okay, let me see this other field maybe. Like also, it also depends with how interested you're going to be, depending with the information you have at the end of that 2 years. So by the time you finish 2 years, you'll be able to make that decision depending on the performance and the experience.
Okay, so there are 2 questions here which are similar. The first one says, what is the total number of years one studies after BCG, including the major? The other one is, how many years is license? It's the same thing.
Okay, so BCG is 2 years, and then after 2 years, you just add 1 year of specialization. But someone might be surprised saying, okay, for instance, someone who has done chemical engineering from Zambia, they do, if not mistaken, maybe it's 5 years. Then here is chemical engineering, it's 2 years. Someone might be saying, I mean, chemical engineering is 3 years, like 2 years BCG plus 1 year of specialization. So someone might be wondering, saying, okay, how come that side is 5 years, here is 3 years? Am I going to have the same information? The answer is yes. Here, the exact things that a person who has done chemical engineering from Zambia or from any other country, they are the exact things that you are going to do, that you are going to learn. Like they are the exact things you are going to meet if you choose that same specialty. So most of like all these specializations, you start touching you start learning about them from the first year. You learn, for instance, if you I'll give an example, the field of chemical engineering, the modules that are covered in chemical engineering, maybe in Zambia, if they are covered maybe in second or third year, here you start learning about them in the first year. So by the end of that 3 years, 2 years of BCG plus 1 year of specialization, you have the same information as someone who has done it maybe during 5 years from somewhere else.
Okay. So is BCG also affected by the new system?
Yes, the BCG is affected by the new system. I was talking to the professor last time, like for FST phase, I was asking, okay, why do you want to add another year so that maybe someone does specialization after 3 years? So the answer which I was given was that like during these 3 years, they've been focusing on the theory part and on the practical part, but they've not been giving like a lot of time on the practical part. So when they add this 1 year, this extra year, it will enable students to have a lot of access to the practical part and also to introduction to some modules, like maybe they'll add a few business modules and the language.
Okay. Do you guys have questions for Mr. Simon Nkoma? Okay, just to add, Mr. Simon, now BCG is offered in vast cities in Morocco. Now, what criteria can you point out to say, okay, no, when you're applying for this BCG and you want to do this course, you're supposed to do this for you to go to this city. So it shouldn't be a case where you're going to say, no, I'm going to go to FACE because there are a number of Zambians there. Isn't it? So now there is a way you are going to say, no, I want to do this. Now, how am I going to go and apply for? That's it. What are you supposed to look out for when you're applying for BCG in these other cities?
Okay, thanks very much. So when you want to choose a city, first of all, I'm sure before you even like before you even start touching the modules that are found in BCG, maybe someone might have an idea saying, okay, I want to do BCG because I want to do chemical engineering, or I want to do BCG because I want to do chemical analysis or mining engineering. So in the presentation that I did, I made sure that I made sure that I give a list of specializations that are found in each and every seat. So when you want to choose a seat, I would advise that you shouldn't choose just because they are Zambians that side. You should choose depending on what you want to do, what you've been thinking of doing, like after BCG. Because you might find that maybe, I'll give an example, you choose maybe BCG Alosima. I mean, you choose maybe BCG phase, but the specialty that you want there, it is not there in BCG phase. You say, maybe I'm going to do a transfer. Yeah, a transfer, it is possible, but the only problem that it will also depend on the average mark that you're going to have at the end of the 2 years. So the best thing, you shouldn't like choose because they are Zambians that side, or maybe because people have been passing that side, because we are like people, we are different, you see. So the best thing for you not to be stranded, you need to choose a city where there is a course that you've been wanting to do.
Okay. So there's a question here. Once again, the list of jobs one can find completing BCG and maybe the major. So this one is asking for the specializations, like maybe you can give a few specializations that one can major in after doing the BCG.
Okay. The specializations that there are a lot, so I'll just mention some. There is like after doing BCG, you have access to do pharmacy. So pharmacy here in Morocco, like you can do it like normally the Moroccans they write ekunku, but for us foreign students for pharmacy we don't write ekunku because the criteria of selection it is like a little bit different. So we can get pharmacy if you have got good marks depending on what moyen like what average mark you have. So I'm sure everyone knows that for pharmacy you can work in the hospital, you can work in the pharmaceutical industry. And then one can also do biochemistry. And biochemistry, you can do it. You can do it. I think without kunku, you can do it. Then, if you want to proceed with, we proceed going to master's degree. After BCG, one can also do chemical engineering. Chemical engineering, you'll be working in manufacturing industries and some other areas. You can also do mining engineering. So if you do mining engineering, you can either work in the mining industry, or maybe you can work in some processing industry, like those that, let's say maybe those that manufacture cement, tiles. You can also work in the in government, like in maybe like in areas where like let's say maybe is it disaster management, like management of natural disasters. The list is endless. So these are just some of the areas where you can work for. There is also water and the environmental engineering. If you do water and environmental engineering, you can work like in areas where they generate hydroelectric power, in areas where they process drinking water, and some other areas.
Okay. Any questions? Or if you want, you can even specialize in analytical chemistry, what I'm doing right now. Yeah, with that, you can also work in a pharmacy, you can work in any industry, because anything, okay, let me say anything related to the chemical industry, you can work there because there's always analysis that is involved. And because the course itself also offers a bit of environmental engineering, so it's a double. You've got analytical chemistry, and you've got environmental quality assurance and quality control, which is like environmental engineering in some sense. So those that want to specialize in the BCG, this is one of the specialties that you can go for. There are a lot. It just depends on which school you want to go for. Yeah. I don't know if you have questions. Okay, maybe Mr. Simon, you can just give a resume with how the experience has been at the FST in regards with BCG, how it has been, and from there we can go to the next presenter.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, so like for BCG, like when I started in the first year, it was a little bit challenging, a little bit difficult, because the education system here is different from the education system that we have back home in Zambia. So for someone to be able to succeed, you need like to work a lot. You need to work a lot starting from the first day. When you starting from the first day you start attending class, there was nothing like, okay, maybe I've learned this, then I'm going to study it when the professor gives me the date for the exam. No, I started studying from the first day. So I would also encourage you to attend the lessons that are going to be organized by the students here in Morocco, because those lessons, they will help you to have like the basic information, so that you know where you need to study from. Because like I would say maybe in BCG, in the first year, there is analysis and there is algebra. These are the modules that we have. So the mathematics that we find here, it is very different, like from the one that we have in Zambia. Even the way of solving everything is different. So for me, I never had, okay, I had challenges, but like the challenges were not that much, because I had done some lessons during the holiday before I started university. So you need also to do a lot of like research most of the time. I can't lie, I used a lot of Google and YouTube. Whenever I'm studying, I can't, like whenever you are studying here, you are like it's not only BCG but any other course, you need like to have access to Google and YouTube, Google on YouTube, because there are some things that you might understand, but for you just to have to consolidate, to maybe to cement that, so that at least you have a proper understanding, you need to do a lot of research. YouTube, Google. And also, it requires some sacrifice whereby you have little access to social media, so that at least you can work on your grades. Because you need to work starting from the first year. At the end of the 2 years, like that average mark which you have, if it's not good enough, you might not do the course of your choice. So for me, what has been pushing me to work hard is because I want a certain course, and that course, it also, it is only given to people that have got higher marks. So for me to get to that course, it means I need to work hard. So if you work extra hard starting from the first year, you have a wide range of options, and you won't have like you won't be limited like in terms of specializations. And one more thing, just one more thing, you can't work just on your own. You need like to consult from your friends. Let's say if you've got a friend, or you've got friends, be it Moroccans, be it friends from Zambia or any other country, yeah, where you are stuck, you consult from them, just like that.
Okay, the last question is, after BCG, if you decide to go for masters, how long will it take?
Okay, so after BCG, you can go for masters like through 2 ways. It's either you go for direct masters, that is after Kunku, and if BCG current BCG is 2 years, and then you add the 3 years so that you get direct masters. So that one where you go direct, you won't be given a bachelor's degree, you just be given a master's degree. The other way is that you do, after BCG, you do BCG for 2 years, then you add the 1 year and you do specialization. After getting your bachelor's degree, you add another 2 years. So starting from the first year of BCG up to masters, it's 5 years.
Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Simon, for responding to our questions. For those that still have questions, you can still reach Mr. Simon later on. At this point in time, we are going to call upon Mr. Mwanza Charlie, who's going to respond to our questions pertaining the PACU or Troncono, which is Mathematique, Informatique, Physique, which is also known as MIP. Mr. Mwanza.
Dalitso.
Yes, Mr. Mwanza.
Can you just help me with sharing the screen?
Okay. Have you managed? Hello? Mr. Mwanza? Okay, Mr. Mwanza. So, Mr. Mwanza, I feel you have got questions that were sent in the group. Is it yesterday or the day before yesterday? So you can start with those ones. Then we are also going to allow some more questions from the audience. Your mic is off, Mr. Mwanza.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we can get you.
Okay, so let me just check the questions for the group. I feel I received it. There were 2 years.
Yeah, I guess it 2.
So, sorry for the noise. So the first question was, is it possible to change from MIP to computer science? That was a question from one of the students that are coming to Morocco. And my answer to this is that in MIP, the informatic part is the basics of computer science. So you're going to be doing a language called C. And then after you learn this language, this is just the basics. Then you can specialize in Lisans to do informatic engineering. So if you want to change, I wouldn't say you're changing because it's already integrated in there. And as you are done with MIP after 2 years, you can advance. Then for the second question, you can get me?
Yeah, we can get you. We can get you.
Okay. Then for the second question that was given is for MIP after the 2 years for preparatory classes, what are the options that are there in terms of pathways to the course someone has chosen, and what are the qualifications? So as Mr. Simon Nkoma said, your choices are heavily dependent on the moyenne that you get after 2 years. So as he's already said, it's advised that you work hard so that you get a high moyenne to have higher options. Then in the video, I gave the options that you can do, but I'm just going to re-say them so that if there are any questions, someone can ask. So for me, it's heavily based on math and physics. So you are going to have the courses such as the civil engineering, informatic engineering, math applique. So this is a higher level of maths, for math applique. Then you're going to have the electric engineering and mechatronics. There are many, but those are the common ones. Any questions?
Any questions from the audience?
Yeah.
I've got a question.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask, in terms of since they have changed the system, is it still going to remain that to rate our exams?
Yes, you write your exam.
I don't know, the concours in the second year, or it's in the concours, the chance to attempt a concours. Is it coming in the third year or second year? And the year for specialization?
I'm a student at FST SETAT. When I asked, there was no valid information given. So I'm going to assume it's still under 2 years for the writing of the concours. Then for specialization, I would also assume it's also 2 years. Then what is just going to be increased is the number of years that you have in Lisans.
Any other question?
And the person asked the question for the changing part.
Yes.
The reason why I asked that was because when applying, I applied to specialize in software engineering. But then if I do MIP, according to the courses that you just gave, the civil, whatever, informatics, or when I'm not interested in doing that, I'm interested in doing software engineering. So that's why I asked the question, is there a way you can switch from this to computer science? Or because when I watched the video for the orientation for computer science, that's where after you do it, that's when you can do software engineering. So that's why I asked that question.
For the changing parts, because the thing is, the guys that are doing, if I'm not mistaken, it's IST, the video that you watched.
EST.
So the thing is, the people that do EST, if I'm not mistaken, they come to the faculty. So if it's changing, it's either you start with the EST or you just continue with MIP, if I'm not mistaken on that. So that's the information I can give you there.
No, I watched a video where it was titled computer science. Now, I don't know if it's EST or whatever, but then after I watched that video, yeah.
Dalitso, you can confirm, is it EST?
Yeah, it's EST.
Yeah, so it's EST. The people that do EST, they have to come to the faculty for specialization. So that's a bit of a tricky thing. So I doubt it's either it's like you want to go a step down
So well, like Mr. Moza says, the best you would do is you just continue with the MIP. Then with time, you can write a concours to access a grande école that offers software engineering. Because like Mr. Richard had mentioned, he said the best he's advising you guys to go for is going for faculty other than at the EST. In as much as they have a little bit of more practical work, but theory is also important because it's going to be like a build up for you as you go a step further. So the advice I would give is you guys that want to do courses like software engineering, first of all, go for faculty. Then, if you aspire to continue, you can write a concours and go and get your specialization at the grande école or at an école. Yeah. Any question? Okay, so Mr. Moise, I've got two questions for you. So the first one is, so yesterday there was a session for GGM. I don't know if there are some people that attended.
Yes.
So GGM and MIP, there is no difference in some sense, isn't it?
No, there's a big difference.
Okay. So what is the difference between GGM and MIP in the sense that you find that you've got specializations in GGM that are found in MIP, and you've got specializations in MIP that are found in GGM. The only exception that you have is mathematics appliqué, which is not found in GGM and is only found in mathematics, informatics, physics. So what is the difference? Like, give us a difference. We want to know the difference between GGM and MIP, because there might be a student who wants to do civil engineering, and I look at two videos. The first video is GGM, and in GGM, someone says, okay, no, among the specializations I can go for is civil engineering. That is GGM. Then they go to another video that is mathematics, informatics, MIP. They also find civil engineering there. So now the question is, what makes the gap? GGM, and MIP.
Okay, so a brief history is that the reason why now that GGM has similar courses with MIP is that when I talked to some of the seniors, they adapted GGM to increase the number of options that you can have at license level. And before, if I'm not mistaken, 2017, like for those that think, GGM, you couldn't do even civil engineering. Then now coming to the current differences, is that for GGM, I can just give just a basic example, which is let's just say there's a course called analysis, which is basically calculus 1. So in this analysis 1, the information that you'll be given in GGM and the information that you're given in MIP is that the one that is given in MIP is very deep, like in terms of like theory, as compared to the one in GGM. For GGM, it's a bit basic. And then in MIP, you go the physics and the math is very advanced, because the people in GGM, they only do calculus 1 and calculus 2, but in MIP, you do calculus 1 up to calculus 4. And that's the same even for the computer, the informatic thing, because in GGM, if I'm not mistaken, they only do there are 3 informatics, they only have 3 informatic modules, but in MIP, they are close to 4 or 5.
Then the other question is, first of all, what specialization? You said you're in your second year, and what specialization would you want to go for?
For me, my passion has always been civil engineering from the get-go. Even when I was in Zambia, I knew what I wanted to do. I told myself I'm going to do civil engineering. And when I saw my course, when I saw MIP in Zambia, I was a bit scared to go, because I saw other people are being given a course called civil engineering. So the first thing I came to Morocco here is I found out from seniors, and even you are one of the seniors, if you can remember, to see that if there's actual civil engineering after me. When I found out, I knew it's my course. So for as many people, as most of the seniors have said, go for what you really are passionate about.
Okay. So why did you go for MIP, knowing for the fact that, because I know you encountered a lot of seniors And amongst the seniors that you encountered was one of the seniors at the École Nationale de Sciences Appliquées, ENSA. And I'm sure the person told you to say, okay, there's also civil engineering here at the ENSA. Now, why did you go for MIP instead of going for ENSA?
Yeah, because there were other options that I had, such as ENSA and ENSAM. So for me, the what's this? Because I knew that in when we first came to here in Morocco, like when changing, I had like when people are allowed to change courses, you may or may not get the course that you want. That's depending on you. So I knew that I already have the course that can give me what I want. So there was no need for me to change.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys still have questions for Mr. Mwanza Charlie. That is to do with MIP.
Maybe anything to do with the cities, like choices maybe.
Well,
Yeah, okay. So lucky, I can tell you that if I was to pick, I would either pick CETAT or FACE. But if you are doing MIP, I would say CETAT because you are going to be the third generation now. Because when I first came here, no one for like 2 years, no one was doing MIP. So I was in CETAT because there's another senior in our phase. So the way MIP is, you really need to be. You don't need to be an island. You need to be with a lot of people. So if you're going to go to phase, you at least you have a senior there, and then here you have a senior. And said that I know the guys have said, yeah, you shouldn't also focus on a senior, but like for me, it's really just for the getting you through the first semester and the first year. It's really helpful if you have someone, because if you're an island, it really does hit. I'm not going to lie with me. If you don't need to be an island, because most of the stuff that you're going to do is complex, and you find that there are other people that have already done this, and they can just easily help you.
okay. Any questions?
Okay, again, how can you rate the pass rate in terms of the people who have attempted concours in MIP? Like,
For that one, I can't give you an exact answer because I haven't really researched on the pass rate for the people that are attempting concours, because it wasn't one of my my aspirations. So that one, I have no exact answer for that. I can research more, then Daiso can give you my number so that I can give you an exact value.
Ndase, okay. I hope it's clear. Ndase Yumba has the
Uh,
hand raised.
what are the other specialization options after the 2 years preparatory course? Because from what I'm understanding, this civil engineering. What other things are there?
The basic, the three core ones for MIP is civil engineering, informatic engineering, and math applique. Although you can branch into electrical engineering, the GGM, the GGM courses, it's possible for MIP because you have more information than them. But those are the three, I would say those are the three basic ones.
All right, thank you.
Maybe, Mr. Mwanza,
Welcome.
you can just do this. You can just
Yes.
list the courses that one can get to specialize in MIP. Not only those three, but maybe if there are 5 or 6, you can mention all of them so that people can know what they can get after doing Paco in MIP.
Okay. So for me, the three ones that I've already listed is civil engineering, génie informatique, and applied mathematics. Then there's now MIP and GGM. So these are courses for GGM that people in MIP can do, which is electronic, electrotechnique, automatic. That's the first one. There's a génie électrique et système automatisé. So electrical engineering and automated systems. There's mechanical engineering, and there's mechatronics.
Okay. So with me, I also have the formula for GGM. That is GGM at CETAT. So these are
Yes.
some of the courses that you can specialize in. You've got Génie électrique et système automatisé, which is electrical engineering and automated systems. You've got mechanical engineering. You've got électronique, électrotechnique et automatique. That is electronic, electrotechnique and automatic engineering. Then you've got mechatronics and you've got réseau et technologie de communication, which is telecommunications engineering. So you guys can see that there is no difference in some sense, but with preferences. Some would go for MIP because they like mathematics, physics, and informatics. Some would go for GGM because they are well oriented in mechanics and these other fields. So it's all about what you want. Like that's the final bottom line. It's all about what you want. Because you're going for GGM, you're going for MIP, you all are going to find the same specialization. That is if you want to go for a license. But if you want to go for a second engineer or write a concours to go to an école, you can still write a concours, either GGM, MIP, you still get the same courses at the end of the day. Yeah. So I don't know if there are any other questions from the audience.
Yeah, the last one, still a similar question, but so branching off from MIP to going to software engineering, is it hard? Because I've only seen the just informatic engineering.
No. You're saying from software, that's specializing, if I'm not mistaken. You're saying specializing.
Yes, for specializing.
If you have a good note in MIP, it's going to be easy because that is what MIP is based on. So if you have a good note, after the 2 years, you have a good note, it won't be hard.
Okay. So, Mr.
All right,
Mwanza,
thanks.
in 2 minutes, can you please just give how your experience has been in the past, is it 2 years of mathematics, informatics, and physics? Because there might be people out there, you know how things spread. There might be people out there that these guys have met and they've heard a little bit of something about what MIP is and what it involves. And maybe they have got the negative aspect of it. But you are the one who's doing MIP and you are the one who's going to like give the final say to say, okay, this thing that these guys were saying isn't true because of A, B, C, D. And you are the one doing it, so you understand it better. So what advice do you give, or how was the experience itself when you were, or when you are still doing the MIP?
Okay, so for the first year, I can't lie, it was a bit tricky for me. And like mainly the first semester because I didn't know exactly how to navigate my way through MIP. So for the first year, this may be dependent on the person who you are. So normally when I was in Zambia, I just used to study alone. So I thought it's going to be the same here, and I found that it was a bit hard because I found that the people that I was doing MIP with, they had like a higher level of education in terms of physics and mathematics. So like for me, like maybe the things that they did in, let's just say for in reference to like their grade 12, they had already done something that is similar. And then for me, I thought like the additional mathematics that I did in Zambia is just going to be enough. But we find that the mathematics in Zambia and in Morocco is different. So in the first semester, it was a bit tricky because I was an island, if to say. But in the second semester, I decided like to work with the people from MIP, and I found that it was at least a bit easier. I worked with people from MIP and from DGM, from both sides. It's almost similar, so that I can understand MIP easier. Then for the second semester, second year, I continued with the same manner that I was doing my second semester with. So I would say just don't be an island and work very, very hard, and everything will go through.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moise, and all the best as you specialize. So
thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we are going to close for Faculty des Sciences et Techniques. We are going to go to the écoles. So the person to represent or present École nationale de sciences appliquées and École nationale supérieure des arts et métiers is Samuel Samtumwa. Mr. Samuel Samtumwa, you can please come in.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dalitso. And hi, everyone. My name is Samuel Samtuma. I'm a third year student at
school, I think I was giving so much to school alone than other things. You know, I was one person, you invite me for soccer, you really have to support your invitation. You really have to say things that you really have to move mountains for you to move me from my room and join you with whatever you're doing. You know, so I really felt like, no, with the results that I got, I felt, no, this is not really, this is not me. I lost it. I actually didn't know what to do. I did everything, but it didn't really go as I planned, you know. But, you know, with the church, with the fellowship with the guys here in Fez, with meeting and interactions, I learned that actually whenever you are thinking about your problem being big, you need to hear some people. Their problems are actually they move you. You really feel like, okay, these guys are passing through stuff, you know, and you begin to see yourself as someone that is actually better off, and you can do actually better. You see how happy they are, you see how, you know, optimistic they are. You are like, wow, why am I being my own poison, being my own, you know. So you really need to look at that aspect when you come to Morocco. The independence will come with a lot of things. There's a lot of enjoyment sometimes that goes on, and you really need that equilibrium between school, between spiritual life and other extracurricular activities that you should be involved in. I'm the Secretary General of the judiciary in the ZASAM association at the moment. That experience taught me a lot also. Many other things also that I'm involved in with the church, and just other things that, you know, we were doing, or that I do with the guys. Because this year, some guy invited me to do some entrepreneurship project. Me, I never believed in it. I was just doing it because he was my friend and he told me. But when we reached almost the finals, I was like, so I can actually be good in something else other than what I'm doing. I can actually learn something that can push me forward. So don't be limited to what you're doing. You are more than what you're doing. You can widen your scope. You can actually do much more. So yeah, you have to bear that in mind, and you interact more when you come, and get as much numbers as possible of the people that are in your course, and just the people that you are inspired by, so that you can be talking to them, and they will really help you. They will really give you their experiences, and you actually learn from them. You see that, you know, you'll be moving forward. Yeah. So that's what I had to say for now, and we'll come and meet and talk more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reid, for sharing your experience and how it has been for you. We're going to go upon the EC. We're going to give you 3 minutes, Mr. EC, to just give a run through of entertainment in Morocco.
First off, I hope everybody is doing well, and congratulations to all of you guys for being selected. Yes, my name is Stanley. I'm the entertainment coordinator in my second year in Fez at ENSA. Yes, I won't waste too much of your time because, you know, the past two guys have stressed most of the points. But first and foremost, your priority in Morocco is your education. That's like one thing you shouldn't forget. But also, it's also important to not neglect the other aspects of your personality, you know, because as you're studying here, it's not like you're just like magically in another, you're sure you're home and you're just studying here. No, you'll be living here. It's like the next few years of your life are like in a new place. So if you neglect the other aspects, you find that you may go back home and find maybe as you settle down, you find people have evolved and it's like you haven't, you know. So like even while you're here, school can be quite stressful, which is like something we all know, because if school was easy, the whole world would have had degrees and stuff. So like as it is being stressful, you find that what can I say? It really affects you, like it affects your mental health and stuff. So it's important to have like recreational activities that help you stay sane, like, oh yeah, like people are different. Some people have interest in sports and stuff. It's very important to, as you come here, like Morocco is a very beautiful country. When you're on your holidays, like from the semester after writing exams, don't just stay like home and sleep and stuff. It's important to like go out and see the new cities and stuff. And also, as you contact like the seniors in the cities you want to go to and ask them about the school and stuff, also ask them about how their life is in that city, like you ask them how it is, you see if the city is suitable for the person you want to be as you get older and stuff. Then it's also important to have like a positive mindset in life, because as many people have said, yes, like there's many things that can happen that you didn't plan for, like things don't always go your way. But then if you don't have a positive mindset, that can be very hard for you. So it's like always keep a positive mindset. Don't beat yourself up about anything. Like everybody can make mistakes in life, but even as that happens, just stay positive and always look for a way to get better with life, because that's the whole process of life. We're just learning and getting better every day. But even when you get here, we've got quite a community that's growing very big, and we welcome you very well. The past year has been a bit difficult because of the COVID and lockdown measures, but yeah, usually we often have like a number of community gatherings where people get together, you're living far from home, so it's important to meet people who you're going to be familiar with and stuff. So it's going to be very positive for you. Then also just have an open mind while you're here, because when you get here, you notice that you find like the culture is very different. Everything is not what you're usually used to. So have an open mind to settle and just learning stuff about yourself. It's really going to help you. What else? Yeah, also at your schools and stuff, just learn to don't isolate yourself like the previous guys that said, don't be an island. Even as you're at school, get to socialize with the people like of different cultures. You never know what you learn from anybody. Like that's a funny thing in life. You can learn the most important thing from the people you least expect. So it's really important to just socialize with people and stay connected with everybody. We as the association will be here to help you when you get here, and we wish you all the best in your studies and everything. Yeah. If there's any questions, you can feel free to contact me. I think my number should be in your WhatsApp group, and also you can contact the other people you have heard from today. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. EC, Mr. Stanley. So without wasting much of your time, everything has been said. I would like to thank you guys for making it today. In as much as we are now 17 participants, I would like to thank you guys for sacrificing your time to be here. And apart from sports and debate, what's there for apart from sports and debate, what's there for entertainment? You can reach the entertainment coordinator for more information. Yeah. So this was the second session and the last session of the orientation for the year 2020-2021. So like I stated earlier on in the official introduction of the orientation, I said we are going to send these videos on our channel, or rather in your group, so that you guys can run through and see where you were not clear and something like that, you get a little bit of clarity. And secondly, I would also like to thank the presenters for sacrificing their time, because all of them here are really tied up, and for them to just come here and spend almost like 4 hours, yeah, that's a lot. I thank you. I thank the president, that's the vice president, Mr. Samuel Samalani, for being here with us. The Secretary General for the Judiciary, thank you very much. Mr. Dilax, the former president, thank you. Myself, the entertainment coordinator, we are saying thank you, because it has really been a long session, but your participation has been of great importance. So not forgetting, we've got a few activities that are going to come up. That is the summer lessons, and this one is one of the most important. It's a preparation for you guys as you are going for your faculty life, equals and all those things. So I ask that in the case or when I post something in the group concerning summer lessons and other things, please be responsive so that I know who is going to be available and who's not going to be available, so that we make conditions favorable for everyone. Because I understand to say there must be a problem with connection in Zambia, and there is a possibility that you guys might start having your summer lessons next month. So when I ask for something in the group concerning who has got challenge with connection, who is in Lusaka, who's far from Lusaka, and those things, please give the information as soon as possible because it is needed and it is for your benefit. Thank you very much and have a blessed day, and all the best to you guys, all the best in your French, and all the best in all your endeavors. Thank you.